live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on your YouTube machine. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. We'll answer your questions about whatever you want to talk about on the Psychetruth. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Hello, 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 hello. Thank you so much and welcome to my weekly live chat. My name is Corrina Rachel and I'm a certified holistic health coach. I've made hundreds of informational videos on this channel, Psychetruth. Everything from weight loss, nutrition, fitness, stress relief. Some of you may also know me from my ASMR channel, or as I should maybe say, my ASMR channel. Thank you so much to everyone who is in here. Let me know if everything is looking okay, sounding okay, and we will start diving into your questions here in just a moment. Really happy to see some familiar faces here, but also some new faces, aka screen names, that I don't recognize. So welcome, welcome, welcome to each and every one of you. I do want to just let you know that this is a super chat, all right? And so that means you can leave a tip with your question. Not only should that give you a really warm, fuzzy feeling, knowing that you are helping us to keep the cameras rolling here at Psychetruth, but it will also bump your question up to the top. So those of you who leave a tip, you get basically a guaranteed answer to your question, and you will be the next question answered, because by the time everyone gets in here with their comments and questions, I won't be able to get to all of them. I will do my very best, though. If you put some question marks at the beginning of your question, that's going to make it just easier for me to see amidst all of the comments. I love that you guys kind of chit-chat with each other, but sometimes it can be hard for me to see the questions. So question marks at the beginning of your question. Rather than leaving me questions like, or leaving me comments like, hey, why didn't you answer my question? Just leave your question again, because maybe I didn't see it. Like I said, there ends up being so many comments, it's hard to see them all. Second thing is that if you want a guaranteed answer to your question, leave me a little bit of a tip, and YouTube will go ahead and bump your question up to the top. All right, those kind of housekeeping things aside, let me start scrolling through here. Thank you so much for all of your kind comments, everyone. Victor Gold, please do a week series of what I eat in a day. Okay, that could be fun. I think it would get maybe kind of boring. It's going to be all the same stuff that I tell you guys to eat in my videos. Play some of your real music. So this is my live chat where I answer your health and wellness questions. But if you go to my music channel, which is just Corrina Rachel, I think Corrina Loves Jazz is my YouTube URL, but that will be my music channel if you want to hear some of my real music. But this chat is all about your health and nutrition kind of related questions. Tina Angel, I'm finally off of sodas. Woohoo. Way to go, Tina. That's awesome. Not an easy thing to do. But getting off of sodas is one of the best things you can do for both your health and your waistline. Pardon me, I have no idea how to pronounce your name. Gourjot Singh. Corrina, do you have a video on Amazon Prime for frozen shoulder? If so, then please send me the link. I'm actually not completely sure. So I pretty much work behind the camera or in front of the camera. And then we have people who work in the office, just a couple doors down, who actually do the video editing, all the posting, all the publishing. So I actually can't tell you. I would have to go to Amazon and search for it. I know that we have 2 people who have recently done videos on frozen shoulder. They are definitely up on wellnessplus.tv. So, you know, if you're watching what's been going on YouTube these last couple months, you know, YouTube is getting a little bit just not super friendly to their content creators. So we have started our own subscription service. It's called wellnessplus.tv. It's only $5 a month, but you get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos, a lot like what you see here on Psychetruth channel. There's a lot more massage videos up on Wellness Plus. Used to be Psychetruth Plus, now it's wellnessplus.tv. You know, YouTube doesn't really like massage videos. They have shown that to us time and time again. But we've got a lot of massage tutorials up on wellnessplus.tv. So you could check that out. You know, as far as if it's on Amazon Prime or not, I would have to go search it, you know, just like you. So should be hopefully easy to find, though. Best things to eat at dinner for weight loss, or at least to not gain more weight. You know, I think you want to, oh, sorry, just totally bruised my knees on this desk. You know, there's a lot of different ways to lose weight. All right. There's a lot of different things that will work, and there's a lot of things that won't work. But you know, I'm all about simplifying things down. Like, what could be just the simplest thing I could tell someone to help them understand how to lose weight, how to not put on more weight. And probably the biggest one is avoiding insulin increases. So insulin gets released from your pancreas every time there's sugar in your bloodstream. All right? So as long as you are causing this insulin response, you got to understand insulin is what they call a fat storage hormone. And when you put insulin into your bloodstream, you've put your body in fat storage mode. So not only are you not going to be able to lose weight, if that's what you're trying to do, but it is making you gain weight, all right? It's causing you to start storing fat. So how do you not have an insulin response? How is that possible? Well, avoid sugars. That should be an obvious one, right? Anything sweet, especially your artificially sweetened stuff, things with high fructose corn syrup, anything with just sugar on the ingredient label, that's your refined processed white sugar, what I lovingly call the cocaine of sugar, right? It's like the difference between chewing on a coca leaf and, you know, refined cocaine. That's what we're talking about when we talk about refined sugar. It's basically just the refined version of what you find in a piece of corn or whatever it might be that they're getting it from, but then they refine it down and then it becomes really, really dangerous for your health, all right? So stay away from sugar as much as you can. Obviously, we're still going to want to eat sweet things, so try to opt for more natural sources of sweetness, like eating fruit. Because when you eat fruit, you also get fiber, you also get a bunch of nutrients and stuff like that. So even though fruit does contain some sugar, it's not nearly as bad for you as the processed stuff and the high fructose corn syrup and all those guys. Avoid your white bread types of things. That's probably the hidden one. People who've been listening to me for a long time, you probably know that. But this is, I feel, one of the just kind of maybe biggest misunderstood things, which is that when you eat white bread in the form of pasta, in the form of white bread, obviously, tortillas and things like that, that refined flour is basically the same thing as sugar when it hits your bloodstream. So avoiding any kind of flour products. So your question was specifically about dinner time. If you're gonna eat carbs, eating them earlier in the day is probably a better idea, because then you're gonna be burning energy all day. But at nighttime is a really important time to avoid those sugars. If you are gonna eat something sweet, make it a piece of fruit. And avoid, white flour as much as you can. You can replace your white flour products with things like brown rice or quinoa. These are still going to give you some carbohydrates, and they still technically cause an insulin response, but because they also have fiber, which white bread does not have, all right, because it also has fiber, it doesn't give you as much of an insulin spike. So to kind of answer your question, because I know I gave you a bunch of don'ts, right? So to answer your question in terms of what to eat at dinner, really healthy sources of fats and protein are going to be really good things to eat at dinner. Vegetables, salads, probably the best thing you can do is eating a salad really at any time of day, but definitely at night. That's a good thing to have at dinner. Not only does salad give you a bunch of wonderful nutrients, but the fiber that you get in vegetables, it almost is just like helping your body digest and process through the other foods that you've been eating. So a salad at dinner time is a great idea. Healthy fats like avocados are a really, really good thing to have. Anytime you're primarily getting fats and protein, you're not spiking your insulin. And if this topic is interesting to you or whatever, you can put in blood sugar as a search term on this channel, Psychetruth, and you will find probably a dozen or more videos that we have made over the years just explaining this one simple concept, which is how do you keep your insulin levels low. This would be very, very appropriate for anyone with diabetes, right? It's the same concept. How do you control your insulin levels? I have to sneeze. Hold on. Good Lord. Woo! Alrighty. So anyways, hopefully that helps you. So that was Anda Sipatino. Sipotonu. I don't know. I can't say your say your last name. I apologize. But Anda, really good question about what to eat at dinner time. What is a healthy dinner? How do I not gain weight with my dinner? Alrighty. Whoa, YouTube just bumped me over a bunch of questions. So, Gurjot Singh, now I'm seeing this question that says, so how to avoid overeating? And this is great to kind of dovetail into that last answer I was just giving. So, another thing about that spike in your insulin, when you increase your blood sugar level very quickly, and that causes an increase in insulin very quickly, what essentially happens is that insulin is being released to try and handle all the sugar in your bloodstream. Well, what happens, because this is a life or death situation, your blood glucose level, if it's too low, death. Too high, death. Right? So when you've just eaten a lot of sugar or a lot of white bread and refined carbohydrates, and your blood sugar spikes up very quickly, your body kind of frantically tries to deal with that sugar, and what happens is that it tends to kind of overshoot. So this is a big reason that we overeat, especially when we talk about overeating right after we've just eaten a lot of food, right? Like, let's say you've just eaten an entire bag of potato chips, then you walk back into the kitchen and you grab another bag of chips and you eat that whole thing too, right? Or you eat a big meal and you still feel hungry. What's up with that, right? So this is part of, you've spiked your blood sugar up too quickly, your body's overcompensated, and now your blood sugar is back down, and even though you just ate a big meal, your blood sugar levels have gone dangerously low, and now you're really hungry again. So that's a big part of overeating, is avoiding that insulin response. Another big thing to understand about overeating, another way to look at this is, how do you satisfy your hunger? Right? Because a big reason we keep overeating is that our hunger is never satisfied. So healthy fats and fiber are kind of the secrets, so to speak, of satisfying your hunger so that you don't overeat. Because you know that feeling when you actually are really full and you look at food and it's like kind of disgusting. Like, that's what you want, right? You want to actually satisfy your hunger. So Fiber. Your vegetables are a great, really great source of fiber. We could also talk about fruits for that matter, right? So the reason that fruit is such a healthy way to satisfy your sugar craving is because of the presence of the fiber. Your legumes, beans, seeds, and nuts and stuff like that. Those are also really great sources of fiber. Basically your natural foods. If you were to look up like a big list of foods that are high in fiber, basically what you would glean from that list is they're all just natural foods. The problem with processed foods, and the reason that we are so likely to overeat when we're eating processed foods and junk foods, all right, is that those foods have been processed and typically they remove the fiber from them. Either by incident, like it just happens as a result of the processing, or they do it on purpose because they know it will make people eat more. And if you are Frito-Lay or General Mills and you make your money when people eat your food, guess what? You're going to engineer the food to make people overeat it. And that is what is happening, in my opinion. They are basically engineering fast food and processed foods to trick people into overeating and to make people overeat, because that's how they're getting rich. And they don't really care if we're overweight or not, right? That doesn't matter to them. So eat natural foods. The more you can stay away from processed foods and junk foods altogether, you will find that eating natural foods in their minimally processed state, all right, which means they don't come out of a box or a bag, and you stay away from those long, crazy ingredient lists, because those processed foods, without any fiber, without any nutrients, they're never going to satisfy your hunger. And they're going to typically cause you to overeat. So, again, this is something that I have tons and tons of videos on this topic. You can even put in overeating as a search term to help you find those videos. But simple answer is eat real foods. Boom. Problem solved. Marie Letourneau. I know a pharmacist on a TV ad said that Pepsi contains as much sugar as natural orange juice. Okay, so this is not really a question, but this is a comment that is worth commenting on. Number one, don't trust everything that you hear on TV, just as a general rule of thumb. Number two, the sugar in orange juice is different from the sugar in Pepsi. All right, again, I know it's kind of silly, but I kind of love thinking about that cocaine analogy because it's something you can really think with. You can think about somebody who's out in a field and picks up a coca leaf and starts chewing on it. And yeah, there's a certain effect that you get from that, right? But how different is that effect of chewing on a coca leaf versus doing a line of cocaine? Like, we're talking about, yes, the high fructose corn syrup in your Pepsi comes from corn, but it is chemically a completely different thing. And where a coca leaf is not illegal, cocaine is, right? So that's a big part of the difference, is just that the natural sugars that you get in a piece of fruit, your body is able to break those down. Your body knows how to break them down, and they're in an amount that's much less overwhelming. The last thing I want to say about this comment is that orange juice, or any fruit juice for that matter, is not nearly as healthy as eating the piece of fruit itself. And, while I am a huge proponent of you eating fruit, and especially if you're eating fruit instead of candy or instead of a dessert, I mean, now you're really, really doing something really good. But eat the fruit and not the fruit juice. Because remember, part of the problem with processed foods and stuff is that they don't have any fiber. And once you turn a piece of fruit with a bunch of fiber in it into fruit juice, well, that doesn't have any fiber either. So a glass of orange juice is really not that healthy for you. All right, so yes, it's natural sugars. I would definitely say that yes, a glass of orange juice is way better for you than a Pepsi. Even if the grams of sugar were the same, the orange juice would still be healthier. However, the orange itself is even healthier than the fruit juice. because of all that fiber and because of all those micronutrients that you might lose in the juicing process. Kind of off topic there, but hopefully that is helpful. Jen Bautista chimes in, how about oatmeal at night? So we were talking about how at your nighttime meals, you want to stay away from refined carbohydrates like white bread. You want to stay away from sugar as much as possible. So let's talk about oatmeal. Now, if we're talking about your instant oatmeal, and especially the ones that are flavored and that have a bunch of sugar in them, all right, that's a big, big no-no. Do not eat that at nighttime because it breaks those rules, right? Of having sugar. And typically your just add water kind of oats, kind of oatmeal type things, I would consider that processed, right? They've done something to those oats to make them so that you can just add water and microwave it and it's ready to eat. If you're eating, you know, a whole grain oat cereal, there's a brand called Bob's Red Mill, and they make a lot of these kind of like whole grain hot cereals. They also make like gluten-free pancake mix and stuff like that. I really love that brand. But anyways, bottom line is that if you're eating whole grain oats that aren't processed and that are naturally sweetened, then that could be a decent thing to eat at night. I would say you probably don't want to eat a lot of it because that is a lot of carbohydrates. However, when you eat whole grain oats or just whole grains in general, you're still getting a bunch of fiber. And that's, again, one of the really big difference with the processed oatmeal. It's not going to have as much fiber as, you know, eating a less processed version of oatmeal. What sometimes will be called oat groats. You know, bottom line is that you know, you can look at things like fiber content. You can look at the carbohydrates compared to the fiber. That'd be another thing on the label that could tell you. But as a general rule of thumb, stay away from those just add water types of oatmeal things, especially at night, for sure. Liwalwali, how to get flexible. I see a couple different people asking about getting flexible, how to get your splits. You know, bottom line is that you've just got to put in the time of stretching. And probably the place where people kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better term, miss the boat when it comes to flexibility and splits and stuff like that, is that you're just not staying in the stretches long enough. So what really helps a muscle to stretch out and to lengthen is not just moving through a stretch really quickly, holding it for a second, moving on. It's sitting in a stretch and breathing, you know, several rounds of breath into that stretch. And you would actually get more benefit out of doing 3 stretches that you hold for a minute each than doing 30 stretches that you hold for 2 seconds each. All right, and maybe that's kind of an extreme thing to say, but I just really want to drive home this point that when it comes to flexibility, when it comes to splits and stuff like that, you need to, you know, you have maybe a stretching video that you do. We have a lot of splits stretch videos on this channel. And just really spend some time holding those stretches and breathing into them. The thing that you want to think about is being able to relax into the stretch. Sometimes when we move into a really deep stretch, we kind of hold our breath, right? And you're kind of like, oh God, oh God, that's really terrible. You're not really going to get any benefit out of doing that. So rather than pushing yourself to this super limit where you can just barely hold it, pull back a little bit. You know, go a little less deep into the stretch. So you're either like not folding as far over or whatever it is, but go to the point where you can hold that stretch or hold that yoga pose and breathe into it and breathe deeply. And then you'll probably find that as you sit there and breathe, you can stretch a little bit deeper. You can, you know, reach your hand a little bit farther towards your toes or whatever. You know, the main thing is letting your muscles become comfortable in that new pose. I think yoga is fantastic for anything that comes to flexibility, because yoga really works to not only create mobility and flexibility, but also strength. That would be another kind of piece of the puzzle that I think a lot of people miss, is they want to get flexible, they want to do their splits, so they're just doing flexibility stretches. But strength and flexibility really go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. So if you're only doing flexibility stuff, try adding in some more strength building stuff as well, especially in your legs and glutes and stuff like that. Having those muscles, you know, so for every stretch you do, there's kind of like complementary muscle groups that need to be strong in order for you to have that stretch. So, you know, hold your stretches longer, breathe into them, find a place where you can hold a stretch comfortably and hold it for a minute or 2 or 3 minutes even. And do strength as well as flexibility. Do things that are good for strength as well. That's the reason I love doing yoga, because I know it's giving me both in a really, you know, intentional way. You know, that yoga teacher, especially if you're doing some of our like yoga for splits videos, that teacher actually sat down and figured out exactly what poses to do, what counter poses you need. Kristen Scott has done several like yoga for splits series that I think are fantastic. Really, really fantastic. And then diversify your stretches. Don't just do the same stretches over and over and over again all the time. Watch some different videos. Do some different people's routines and stretches. And then, you know, see what works for you. There'll be certain things that feel really good, or certain things that, you know, maybe they don't feel as good. So maybe you don't do that stretch anymore. And just really listen to your body. Be easy on yourself. Don't push yourself too quickly into something like the splits, because you could hurt yourself. And then you're actually setting yourself, you know, backwards in what you want to do. Anne de la Cruz, what do you think of apple cider? I assume you mean apple cider vinegar. Does it help you lose weight? Okay, apple cider vinegar. This is something that I have been taking, I don't know, for maybe like 10 years or something. There are a lot of different health benefits associated with apple cider vinegar. I personally use it in my salad dressings all the time. I personally will add a little bit of apple cider vinegar to my water as well. The taste can be a little bit intense at first, so just a little tiny bit until you get used to the taste. They also make apple cider vinegar caplets or pills as well. So if you really can't stand the taste, you could take it in a pill form. In terms of weight loss, I would say that yes, apple cider vinegar can definitely contribute to your weight loss. So I'm not saying that this is like a weight loss miracle, like you can keep eating junk food and take apple cider vinegar and you're going to lose weight. But I feel that apple cider vinegar is a really good thing to add to your healthy diet. And here's why I would say that yes, apple cider vinegar can help you lose weight. It's very supportive of the liver. Apple cider vinegar is one of many foods that are very supportive of your liver. Your liver is one of the very important detoxification organs in the body. And the reason that, you know, I would, you know, kind of equate liver health and weight loss, actually there's a lot of different reasons. One is that when your liver becomes what they call congested. So if you think about your liver like an air filter, you can just kind of imagine that after a certain amount of time, the air filter starts to become kind of clogged, right? And so things just don't move through it as easily. So that's kind of like a congested liver. It's like a congested air filter. Well, now things are kind of piling up in your digestive tract. So belly fat tends to be highly associated with a congested liver, or a liver that's not working well, because literally your whole digestive system just kind of gets, starts getting clogged up, for lack of a better term. Apple cider vinegar, because it is, going to help create an acidic environment in your stomach, is really, really good for digestion. Our stomach, in order to digest our food, is a very, very acidic environment. So anything that you do to increase the acidity in your stomach actually helps improve digestion. When it comes to things like heartburn and acid reflux, this is not a result of your stomach being too acidic. It's a result of your stomach not being acidic enough. So even for someone with heartburn, and honestly, especially for someone with heartburn, I would also recommend apple cider vinegar. Take it in a pill if it doesn't taste, if you can't stand the taste of it. And stay away from antacids and Tums and all those things that reduce your stomach acidity. Not only are they impeding your digestion, but it's not actually resolving the problem, which is that your stomach isn't acidic enough. It's making the problem worse. So apple cider vinegar, there's a lot of other benefits as well, but just for the liver and digestion benefits alone, I would definitely say it's something good to help with weight loss. So I'm super excited. We just received our first tip of the chat, and I don't have a bell yet. I want to get a bell to ring. Meow, meow, meow. Kobe Lauder, you're a champion. Thank you for helping us here at Psychetruth. All right, so Kobe, thank you so much for your tip. That is super kind of you. However, I don't see a question here. So I owe you an answer, Kobe Lauder. If you have a question, we'll be here for another hour or so. So if you have a question, please leave it for me. I owe you an answer at this time. And thank you so much for your generosity. Super appreciate it. Poppy Bone, how do you get off sodas? I mean, the first thing you need to understand about sodas is that they put caffeine in them to make them addictive. They put more caffeine in diet sodas than they do in regular sodas, which is why many people feel like they're addicted to Diet Coke. And many people like Diet Coke more than regular Coke. Maybe they don't realize it's because it has more caffeine, but that's probably why. So, recognize that part of the reason you're craving sodas is not just because they contain such an enormous amount of sugar that it's like sending off a huge reward response in your brain. That caffeine content is literally making you addicted to the sodas. So if you're trying to get off sodas, you're probably going to need to kind of wean down slowly. Either weaning off the sodas or maybe using something like tea that has caffeine in it, and maybe use that to help you wean off, because your body is going to be addicted to that caffeine. The same thing goes with coffee. Your body gets addicted to that caffeine, and sometimes you can get withdrawal headaches. As a result of your body just craving the caffeine. So the same thing can happen to you with sodas. So maybe having some source of caffeine around handy, so that if you do start getting a caffeine withdrawal headache, you can take a little bit of coffee or whatever to help make that process easier. Then you have, so there's the caffeine consideration in sodas. Then you have the huge amount of sugar component. There's so much sugar in sodas, it's kind of inconceivable. So, I saw somebody else comment about, drinking fruit juice instead. If that's what it takes to help you get off of sodas, just drinking something really sweet, fruit juice or something, then, fine, if that's what it takes. I think, there's also the, kind of carbonation factor, so maybe something like sparkling water. I really love Topo Chico, like sparkling mineral waters. Maybe something carbonated or sparkly, probably a kombucha is the healthiest thing to help you get off of sodas. And it's cool because most kombuchas are pretty sweet because they're competing with sodas. So they tend to, sweeten them quite a lot. And they're carbonated. So it gives you that cool fizzy feeling. And they're really healthy for you. It's a fermented beverage. So, kombucha, fruit juice. I don't want to tell you to use coffee to get you off of soda, but if it took a little bit of coffee to help you wean down and wean yourself off of sodas, then so be it. I think that even coffee is not as bad for you as soda pops. And that says a lot because coffee is not really a healthy thing to drink. Wow, there's a lot of questions. Let me see if I can find where I was at. Just Steph, I feel like a bottomless pit when I'm super into my workout regimen. I'm always hungry. What's a good way to attack that without eating the world? So first off, perfectly natural and normal to be really, really hungry when you're working out all the time. The more energy you expend, the more energy your body's going to want to take in. So, just try to think about eating healthy things as much as possible. Remember that your hunger satisfiers are things like fats and fiber. A lot of people, when they're trying to lose weight and trying to get healthy, will kind of lean toward that low-fat, non-fat, fat-free foods kind of a thing. But unfortunately, not only are those foods not gonna fill you up, which is the whole point of eating in the first place, but they also are not good for your health. And I've done several videos talking about what I call the low-fat trap. So don't fall for it. You need to be eating healthy fats. Now, fried foods and French fries and donuts, that doesn't count as healthy fats. I'm really sorry. I would love it if they did, trust me. But unfortunately, they don't. But just know that when you talk about things like peanut butter, milk, even eggs, a lot of times you hear the recommendation to, don't eat the yolk. There's too much fat. There's too much cholesterol in the yolk. That is crazy talk. All the nutrients in the egg are in the yolk. And the enzymes your body needs to digest the protein in the egg white, guess where it is? It's in the yolk. So this is, when they talk about whole foods, of course now Whole Foods is the name of a grocery store, but before it was the name of a grocery store, it was just a concept of eating a whole food that hasn't been processed, where nothing's been taken away. You're eating the whole natural food. So in the case of eggs, you eat the whole egg, not just the egg whites. In the case of milk, you eat whole milk. Stay away from that fat-free skim milk. It's not good for you. All right? You eat the whole food in its natural state. Stay away from the fat-free peanut butters. Maybe the healthiest part of the nut is the fat. And just as a general rule of thumb, the processing that they use to take the fat out of foods that would normally contain fat is a horrible thing in and of itself. So make sure you're staying away from fat-free foods, eating as many healthy fats as you can. So things like, nuts, avocados, coconut oil, fish is a really good source of healthy fats as well. Healthy protein, also really important. And all of your high fiber foods are also going to be really, really good for helping to satisfy your hunger. Again, if you asked like, oh, what are the foods that contain fiber? You would just see a list of like all the natural foods in the world. All of your vegetables, all your fruits, all your beans and legumes, and stuff like that are all going to be good sources of fiber. Basically, what it comes down to is staying away from processed foods. Your white bread, no fiber. It's all starch. It's all sugar. So it's a big reason that when you're eating processed foods, you can never fill up. The last thing I would say about this question, about satisfying hunger, and there was somebody else earlier that asked about how to stop overeating. Another really important kind of consideration is your nutrients and your micronutrients. Another big reason that our bodies will continue to feel hungry even after we've eaten a lot of food is that maybe there are still nutrients your body's needing and it's not getting from whatever you're eating. So even though you could eat 5,000 calories of top ramen soup, your body is not getting any nutrients from it. So, having a variety, a good healthy variety of foods in your diet is a good way to ensure you're getting all your nutrients. Probably the easiest way is taking a multivitamin, or there's something called Green Vibrance. They make it in a green powder, but they also make it in a pill form, and then it's just like a multivitamin. But basically, it's, I don't know how many, 50 to 100 green vegetables and other healthy foods that they are using to make this really powerful, really potent, green powder or green pills if you don't want to take it in the powder form. But something like that is going to contain a lot of nutrients, and it's going to be a good way to just, kind of help, give your body a really broad spectrum of nutrients and hopefully satisfy whatever nutritional requirement is still making you hungry. You can also really listen to your cravings. A good example is that if you're craving salty foods, your body is craving minerals. The main reason that our body craves things that are salty is because it needs mineral content. Now, unfortunately, most of the processed salty foods out there, like potato chips and whatever else, they just contain sodium. But sodium is just one of many, many different minerals that your body needs. So, even though you could go and you're like, oh, I'm craving salt, eat a huge bag of, potato chips and still be craving salt, it's because you have not satisfied the mineral deficiency or the mineral craving that your body had in the first place. So again, thinking about a multivitamin or thinking about a whole food supplement that contains a wide variety of all the different minerals the body needs. Sea salt and Himalayan sea salt are another good, it's another good way to get a broad spectrum of minerals. And just kind of think about, have I eaten enough vegetables today to satisfy my body's nutritional needs? And if you haven't, either go get a salad or go get one of those kind of green whole food supplements. Like I said, Green Vibrance is one that I personally am a really big fan of. So healthy fats, healthy fiber, many nutrients as possible. Do a video about the ingredient list of Oreos. I'd probably have a heart attack. That's how I felt. I did a video reading off the ingredient list of a Big Mac. I mean, it's like a 45-minute video. That is how many ingredients are in a freaking Big Mac. It's insane. Anyway. Jessica Meekings, good to see you. Thank you for coming to the chat. Okay, cool. All right, so now I'm feeling caught up here. Khaleesi, can you please give us your opinion on removing dairy from your diet in order to remove acne? You know, it's not a guaranteed solution, but I will say that I've known multiple people over the course of my life who cleared up their faces completely by taking dairy out of their diets. Part of it is that dairy, just in general, tends to cause inflammation, cause an inflammatory response. Probably a bigger component is that the way most of our dairy products are, well, you know, it's kind of twofold, right? You've got what they're feeding the cows, the way that the cows are living, how healthy are the cows, the fact that most of your, you know, conventional dairy products are coming from cows that are given antibiotics, that are given hormones, that are given all kinds of crazy stuff to make them yield more milk. And then you have the processing that's done to the milk after it comes out of the cow, that also starts to kind of deplete a lot of the nutrients, deplete our body's ability to digest the milk in the first place. Of course, you've also got a huge number of people, I'm sure some of them are in this chat room right now, that are like, you know, just completely against eating dairy altogether. I think everyone should stop eating dairy products. I tend to kind of stay away from extremes like that. I think every person's body is different and we all have different nutritional needs. However, dairy products do tend to cause inflammation. So anyone with an inflammatory condition, that means anything that ends with itis, that means it's an inflammatory condition, could also be improved by staying away from dairy. Khaleesi also said, any acne clearing tips? I've done, again, several videos on this channel about natural skincare and stuff like that. I kind of treat my skin the same way I treat my body in terms of, I try to not put really crazy chemicals on my skin. I'm looking for things that are as close to their natural state as possible. One of the favorite things I use on my skin is coconut oil. As a makeup remover, coconut oil is fantastic. And a little bit of coconut oil on a cotton pad and your makeup will come off just like it does with those makeup removers. And then I just use a really gentle, again, natural soap. Because the coconut oil will leave it kind of greasy, so then I'll usually use soap. You know, but again, most of your kind of conventional soaps, you're going to see sodium lauryl sulfate or sodium laureth sulfate as the first ingredient. That's what they call a surfactant. It's like a scrubby molecule. And it tends to be very harsh on our skin. So I'm always looking for natural soaps, natural skincare products, things that are made with, you know, either food grade items like coconut oil or almond oil is another good one. And just in general, staying away from the really crazy ingredient list. And yeah, I was actually looking at, you know, my roommates, you know, still use the regular soaps and stuff. So when I'm in the shower, I'll see their soft soap there. And I just turn it over and look at the ingredients, and I'm just disgusted by them. Methylparaben, propylparaben, these are, you know, other chemicals that they've found to be really harmful, not only for your skin, but anyways, I'm going off on a tangent now, but using simple things on my skin. I don't wear a lot of makeup. Obviously I do have makeup on, but I'm not into the like caked on foundation and stuff. You know, your skin needs to breathe. You know, so having a lot of just thick makeup and liquid makeup on your face all the time, I think makes the situation worse. You know, so I'll use like a light powder and stuff like that, but I see so many girls just caking these chemicals onto their skin day after day after day after day. I think that's a big reason, you know, why we have so many skin problems. Lemongrass tea calms your nervous system and makes weight loss easier. Ambreen Ahmed chimed that in. Also, can I do a HIIT workout while I'm on my period, I guess is what you're asking. You know, I think every woman just needs to kind of make her own decision about what feels good for your body. I tend to find that, you know, really intense workouts are, you know, not something that I feel really good doing, you know, while I'm on my cycle. But I love doing yoga. I feel like stretching and moving and stuff like that just feels so amazing. So I tend to kind of step down, I guess you could say step down the intensity of my workouts. But then I also know other girls who say that, you know, going for a really intense workout or intense run actually helps them feel like less cramps and stuff like that. So I think we all just kind of need to, you know, do what feels best for us. I don't think there's really a one size fits all recommendation in that area. Rita Tibbs, Canadian residents don't get Prime Video. That is so weird. I don't know. I have no idea why that would be. Weird. But Rita Tibbs, I would just recommend you go to wellnessplus.tv. That is our subscription service. We've got over 500 videos posted up there already and more to come. Again, it's just like more of what we have on this channel and on our ASMR channel. Lots of massage tutorials, lots of guided meditations, lots of yoga videos, fitness videos, and we're just kind of, you know, broadening out the other types of content we're going to have up there too. We're running a special right now. It's only $5 a month to sign up for wellnessplus.tv, and you just get tons and tons and tons of videos. You can stream them to literally any device, your TV, your phone, your tablet, anything. So it's really cool, and it's a really good way to support us, you know. And $5 a month, that's like, you know, a Starbucks coffee or two. You know, most people I think could spare $5 a month to do something good for their health and their wellness. So I hope you'll consider joining wellnessplus.tv. We definitely appreciate it, and we're really super excited. We actually just had a meeting earlier, and we're just really excited about all the cool videos that are going up there, how good it looks. It's so much easier to use than YouTube. You know, like on YouTube, if you wanted to find one of our videos, you have to go to the channel and kind of search for it and whatever, but wellnessplus.tv is just all laid out by category, really easy to, you know, find exactly what you're looking for. Butterfly wings obliged. Corrina, are you planning on making any ASMR doctor role plays again? I'm sure that I will. I love playing a doctor. It's actually really fun. And Butterfly wings obliged main query. How do you help with ongoing tummy pain? I mean, my main recommendation would be to see a doctor and figure out what is going on. The kind of mainstream medical arena will tend to, you know, kind of want to just put you on a pharmaceutical of some kind. However, I don't think that really gets to the root of the problem or resolves the root of the problem. But you could at least see a doctor to kind of figure out what it is and then decide if you want to take a medication or if you want to try to find a natural resolve for whatever it might be. But I would kind of encourage you to get it checked out, because tummy pain could be a lot of things. You have so many organs in this area. Like, you don't, you know, I mean, maybe you can tell it's your stomach. Maybe it's something that you specifically feel after eating certain things or something like that. a doctor of functional medicine. This is just kind of a branch of holistic medicine, so to speak, but functional medicine is my personal preference for, you know, really figuring out what's the cause of the problem, what's really going on, and how to resolve it. So other than seeing a doctor, a couple other ideas I would have for you are to keep a little journal or a little food diary, you could call it, where you kind of track what you eat each day and track your tummy pain. And just see if after a couple weeks you can start to notice, like, oh, it's always 2 days after I eat this food. Or, man, I went a whole week without any tummy pain. Let me look back through my journal and see, well, what did I eat this week? Or what did I not eat this week? And start trying to determine for yourself to see if it's food related, or if it's related to a certain food. Or maybe you start keeping a journal and you're like, wow, this seems completely random. If it's not food related, you know, you can start asking, you know, questions like, well, maybe it's not my stomach. Maybe it's a different organ. Maybe there's something else that's going on. You know, there's, like I said, there's a lot of organs in that area. So even though it feels like a stomach ache, it could be, you know, your liver, it could be any number of different things. But a food journal is a good way to just kind of start tracking and seeing if it's something food related. Supporting your digestion, supporting your stomach would be my second recommendation. So eating healthy foods is a really, really big one. Staying away from processed foods as much as possible. Hopefully that goes without saying. And then things you can kind of add into your diet that might help would be probiotics. Probiotics help to feed the good bacteria in your digestive tract that tend to be kind of destroyed by processed foods and alcohol and sugar and all of those kinds of things. So taking a probiotic supplement is a good way to improve digestion. Apple cider vinegar we were talking about earlier, that would be a good thing to take either a little bit in water or take it as a capsule to help improve your digestion. Man, I hope that those ideas help you. I'm going to go ahead and move on to another question, but I wish you the best of luck with that. Having pain, especially tummy aches and stuff like that, never is fun to deal with, obviously. So I wish you the very, very best. Hope that you can find a resolve for that. Vivian67, do you have a dog? Yes, I do. See if I can find a picture of my dog for you. Her name is Billie Holiday. She's half black lab, half Akita. I have too many pictures of too many dogs. Oh wait, here she is. Hee hee hee. This is my dog, Billie. Hee 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 hee. Hee hee hee. She's so cute. I love her. Anyways. Alrighty, moving on here. Looking for question marks. I will go ahead, take this moment to remind you guys that this is a super chat, which means if you click the little $sign underneath the comment box, you can leave a tip with your question and YouTube will actually bump it up to the top. Sparkling Gem Gem, is it right to remove dairy, gluten, processed foods, and sugar-added foods from your diet? Because I have been doing it for a while and I feel healthier. Yeah. So dairy, gluten, processed foods, sugar. So like I said, dairy tends to cause inflammation, tends to be kind of correlated with inflammation type things like acne and stuff like that. Also, the way that most conventional dairy is made is just so terrible. That's another good reason to avoid dairy. Or if you are going to eat dairy products, opt for organic as much as possible. Gluten. Gluten is something that is not in itself super, super harmful and just terrible for you. Okay, it's not like arsenic. All right, it's not just toxic. But the problem is that we eat too much of it. It's part of it. Another consideration is that we eat so many processed wheat type products. You know, white bread, white flour tortillas. And the more that you're eating this kind of, it's like kind of concentrated gluten in a way, where if you're eating whole grain bread, somebody mentioned Ezekiel earlier, if you're eating whole grain bread, it does still contain gluten, yes, but it will also contain all the fiber and nutrients and minerals that are naturally present in the grain that help your body break it down more naturally. So a lot of people have become gluten sensitive, or, you know, a lot of people even have gluten allergies, like straight up cannot eat it at all. So obviously for those people, it's going to be beneficial to take out gluten. And because that gluten intolerance has become so common, more and more and more people are finding that removing gluten from their diet makes them feel way better. Last thing about gluten is that it's a very big molecule. And when it breaks the barrier between your digestive tract and enters your bloodstream, this is very problematic. And so typically people that are eating a lot of processed foods and sugar, it's like the lining of your digestive tract just becomes too thin or too permeable. So now gluten, which is okay for you when it's in your digestive tract, gets into your bloodstream. This is also known as leaky gut. And when gluten gets in your bloodstream, now it causes all of these problems. So lots of people find that removing gluten is very, very helpful. And then processed foods and sugar, I think I've already said enough times how terrible those things are for us. You know, and if you're sitting here like processed foods aren't that bad, Corrina, then please check out some of the videos I've done on this channel talking about why they're so bad. So I've definitely done several videos on that topic. Glad you liked my dog. Miss Chalita, do you have advice, recommendations for picky teenagers? I mean, I'm like thinking of all these ideas, but it's probably things you've thought of before, like sneaking healthier foods into foods that they like. There was one lady that did some videos with us, and she was like talking about how when she makes meatloaf, she'll like puree a bunch of vegetables and stuff and kind of put that in the meatloaf. So then the kids, like, they don't necessarily realize that they're eating a bunch of vegetables because it's just in the food. Or, you know, if you're making cookies or whatever, you know, you're just using healthier ingredients and kind of, you know, putting them into the foods that the kids like. You know, using a food that they like and then adding something to it that would be healthier is always a good idea. You know, other foods that are good for that are like, let's say you're making spaghetti and meat sauce. You can chop up, you know, onions, zucchini, you know, bell peppers. These would be great vegetables to chop up and add them into the sauce. And so, you know, rather than them having like a side of zucchini they have to eat, now it's just in the sauce and it's going to taste like the spaghetti and they may not even notice that they're eating it. It's been a long time since I've been a teenager. I'm trying to think. Anyways, kind of a cool question. I'll see if I can think of some other ideas for that. I'm going to go ahead and move on for now. Iwani says, teenagers are socially conditioned to go for extreme flavors. Try preparing dinner entrees with certain healthy spices and flavorings like Ceylon cinnamon, raw honey, paprika, moderate cayenne. So yeah, that's a really good point. You know, you can think about, you know, like Cheetos or those hot Cheetos, you know, Twinkies. You know, think about these foods that they really, really like, and kind of think, okay, well, what is it about that food that they like? And Iwani kind of hit it here on the head. It's extreme flavors. So you can actually make something that's healthy, that's really spicy. And cayenne pepper has a lot of health benefits in it. So unfortunately, the hot Cheetos, 0 health benefits. But if you were to, you know, make something with a spicy cayenne sauce, actually is healthy, but still, you know, has some of those extreme flavors in it, you know, like extreme sour, extreme sweet. Black bean brownies. Not quite what I meant, but it could be good. Gurjod Singh is asking about frozen shoulder. I mean, I think she needs to see a professional massage therapist. Or, you know, maybe a chiropractor or something like that. You know, frozen shoulder is not maybe something that you're just gonna be able to help her resolve. However, like I said, we do have a couple videos that people have done on frozen shoulder, and I imagine if you watched those videos, you'd at least be able to glean, you know, a couple of different, you know, tricks or something that you could use to help her. It also kind of depends on like how frozen is her shoulder. Like, does she just have limited motion, or she like literally like has no motion? You know, the thing about the shoulder and the shoulder girdle, right, what they call like this whole area, is that there's only one like skeletal attachment, I believe, at the clavicles. But where, you know, like you can think about your knee or your hip, like there's this huge joint, right? Well, the shoulder doesn't really have that because the arm moves almost in like every direction, right? So there's not a big joint in your shoulder like there is in your, you know, in your hips or in your knees. And while that's great, it gives us all this mobility, it also means that there can be lots of problems in the shoulder. So just to give you a couple things, working on this pec muscle here can be really, really good for opening up the shoulder. You can even like massage all the way down, you know, like into the breastbone. There's also these muscles in between the ribs known as intercostals, which can become tight. So, you know, I mean, obviously if this is on your mom, maybe she would do this herself, right? But all in these intercostals underneath the arm, this pec muscle can get worked. That feels really good. I'm just gonna keep doing that. Also, you know, on the back of the shoulder, right? So you've got your scapula or your shoulder blade. There's all kinds of connective areas around that. So just working, you know, on the shoulder, or maybe just, you know, what I call piano fingers, you know, piano fingers over the shoulder blade. And then over here, I believe it's like infraspinatus, it's like inside of your shoulder blade. There's a little point that is very, very, very tender, very, very sensitive. And you don't want to dig into it really hard, but I bet if you started kind of massaging around that area, that would be something that could give her some relief. You know, you've also got trapezius over the top coming over, you know, so your shoulder attaches in all these different places on all these different muscles. So you could just think about, you know, working on the trapezius, working on, you know, infraspinatus over the shoulder blade and stuff like that, intercostals underneath, pectorals on the front, you know, but just massaging in those areas. Maybe, you know, like I said, I don't know how frozen her shoulder is, but just any kind of massage in those areas is going to draw blood flow to those areas. When you draw in blood flow, you're getting healing, you're getting all of this new, you know, new blood, new tissues, so that you can just start to kind of wake that area up and draw more blood flow to that area. Yeah, so frozen shoulder just refers to when the shoulder has limited mobility. And sometimes people get to the point where they can't lift it at all. Yeah, so, if she just has limited motion, you can just kind of try, like, massaging on some of those areas, and then just slowly, starting to, help her move the shoulder. Love for you to sign up for wellnessplus.tv and go watch our videos on frozen shoulder, but I know there's other people on YouTube who've also done videos on frozen shoulder, so just educate yourself. I'm sure you can find some things that will be helpful. EM96I, Corrina, please talk about intermittent fasting for women, if it's good. Intermittent fasting has gotten a lot of attention recently. It's just kind of interesting to see how, things trend on YouTube, or just on the internet in general, but YouTube is just kind of maybe a little microcosm. So intermittent fasting is basically about extending the period of time between our meals, and in theory it makes perfect sense, right? So the more that you are letting your blood sugar levels come down, so to speak. If you remember right at the beginning of the chat, somebody was asking about what to eat at night. And I started talking about insulin and how insulin is the fat storage hormone. And as long as you have insulin flowing through your bloodstream, your body's in fat storage mode, not fat burning mode. This would also be a question that's going to answer, I've got people asking, what foods do you recommend to eat while losing weight? What should I eat to lose weight? Well, here's your answer, okay? So insulin is the fat storage hormone. So as long as you have insulin in your bloodstream, your body's storing fat. So if you want to lose weight, or you at least want to stop gaining weight, there's a couple things you can think about. One would be reducing the duration of time throughout the day that there's insulin flowing through your bloodstream. And that's kind of what intermittent fasting seeks to do. So if you were to, be eating 3 meals a day and snacking in between your meals, then maybe 12 out of the 24 hours of the day, you have insulin flowing through your bloodstream because you've been eating sugar, because you've been eating something. So if you could just extend your periods of fasting between your meals, now your insulin is raised for a lot shorter duration of the day. Now, I think that intermittent fasting is something that can certainly work for people to lose weight. And like I said, in theory, it makes perfect sense. However, it's not, what do I want to say? It's not something that you can just take someone who is, pretty overweight, been eating an average diet, right? This is like your average person, and then put them on intermittent fasting and boom, they get really healthy and lose all this weight. It's not something that's going to be easy for your body to adapt to. It's going to take some time to adapt to these long periods of not eating. And I think that it's just kind of become one of these fads, like anything else, where, you've got people who've tried a bazillion different diets, and a billion different diet plans and diet shakes and whatever, and now they're going to try intermittent fasting, and they're probably going to fail with that too. Because largely, it's not about finding one simple trick that helps you lose weight. And that's how people kind of are treating intermittent fasting. Like, oh, it's just this one simple trick that you do and it works. And it's just not that simple. You know, you have to remember that, our bodies adapt. And if you've been eating a certain way for 30 or 40 years of your life, your body's largely adapted to that. So if you suddenly start this intermittent fasting where you're eating on a totally different schedule and waiting really long periods of time in between your meals, it's going to shock your body. And your body could kind of go into this frenzy where it's like, oh my God, is there a famine? What's going on? So, I think that, okay, so what do I want to say about intermittent fasting? Don't just try it among one of these many, many different things you're doing to try to lose weight. Okay, don't treat it like it's just a little weight loss trick. Okay, build up to it. Ease your body into it. If you're going to try intermittent fasting, ease into those durations. So rather than just, immediately waiting 8 hours between a meal or whatever it is you're going to do, just start slowly. Maybe you start by waiting an extra 30 minutes between meals and then an extra hour, right? And then you're like slowly building up. So think about not shocking your system. This is what I always say when people ask about fasting and juice fasts and cleansing. It is something that can work and it is something that can be good for you, but it's not like a little trick that you use. It's something you need to be really, really conscious of, that you're not going to shock your system. Because a lot of fasts and cleanses and stuff, that's exactly what they do. So if you're shocking your body, you're going to defeat all the benefits of whatever else. So ease into it. Go easy on yourself. Don't just try to make this, big giant change overnight and expect that your body is just going to adapt immediately. That's just not how it works. Ultimately, I think it is just far more important to think about eating a healthy diet, eating a variety of fruits and vegetables every day, eating healthy foods. And, once you can get your body healthy and where your intention is not, losing weight or doing this or whatever, but just getting healthy. And then from there, you can, kind of branch off to something like intermittent fasting or, a juice cleanse or whatever it is that you want to try. But you got to get your body healthy first and get your diet healthy first. Don't start your intermittent fasting while you're still eating junk foods and cheeseburgers and, slim fast. Get healthy first. That is by far the most important thing. And all of these other tricks like intermittent fasting and juice cleanses and whatever else are only going to be beneficial for you once you get your body healthy first. You're just really prioritizing eating healthy foods, living a healthy lifestyle. There are some trolls in here. Iwani, I know fasting generally has good benefits, but some people do it in obscene ways that causes bad effects. Totally agree with that statement. That was Iwani chiming in. I totally agree. It's just one of those things where, it's not that it's bad, but if it's not done right, it can be very bad for you. And unfortunately, we live in this kind of instant gratification kind of society. We expect that we're going to just do something and it's just going to immediately work. And it's just not always how it works. You got to be easy on your body. Nazma Ali, what is the best exercise to lose weight and tone my muscles? You know, this is just such a weird question, right? There's not one single best exercise in the world. The best exercise for you to lose weight and get strong is whatever exercise you will actually do. Period. For some people, it's riding a bicycle. For some people, it's swimming. For a lot of people, it's yoga. You know, the bottom line is that, you know, don't set out thinking like, okay, what's the best thing I can do? And then I'm going to force myself to do it. You know, set out thinking, all right, what's a fun way to get exercise? What's a fun thing that I could see myself doing that would be a good workout? Like playing flag football or going hiking or going swimming or whatever it is, right? There's a million and one things. Because bottom line is that whatever you're actually gonna do is what's gonna work the best. To kind of answer your question a little more of what you were looking for, I personally feel that yoga is one of the most fantastic ways to lose weight and tone your muscles, because it combines what I consider kind of the three pillars of fitness that we need, which is strength training, building your muscle strength, flexibility, which I would also consider that like flexibility and mobility, and cardio, or cardiovascular exercise, where you're really getting your heart pumping. Generally, you're going to be sweating, increased respiration, or breathing. You're breathing quicker. So then among those kind of three types of exercise, I love yoga because it kind of, you know, puts all three of them together. Using your own body weight to build your strength, I personally love, because I don't really like lifting weights and stuff like that, but certainly you can, you know, weightlifting is a really, really good thing for you. It really is. But I love yoga because it helps you use your own body weight to build strength. And then that flexibility side, which is so important, especially when we talk about, you know, how do you make sure you're not going to injure yourself? Having that flexibility of your muscles and that mobility of your limbs, right? Like your arm's ability to have, you know, full mobility. It can move in every direction that it's supposed to. Flexibility and mobility, very, very important. So I love doing yoga, and I think it's fun. You know, I have fun doing it. So, right, that's kind of like back to the first thing I said, which is the best exercise is something that you can see yourself doing on a regular basis. Meow, 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 gaming 4863. That's not a question. That was a demand. But I did it for you anyways. Why am I laughing reading people's hilarious comments? Thank you, Free One Up. I appreciate that. Jonathan Whitelaw, what are the benefits of ASMR? I don't know if you specifically mean the benefits of the tingling sensation itself or the benefits of ASMR videos. ASMR videos are all about helping you relax, helping you sleep. When it comes to the health benefits of sleep and relaxation, that should be like a no-brainer. The only time your body can heal, can repair, can burn fat, can build muscle, can repair your skin cells. I mean, every type of repair and replenishing that the body does, it does while you're at rest or while you're asleep. So reducing stress, reducing insomnia, reducing anxiety, that is one of the most important things you can do for your health. And for people that aren't sleeping well or that do feel a lot of stress and anxiety, ASMR videos, I mean, that's what they're there for, is to help those situations. And in terms of the health benefits of relaxing, getting sleep, etc., I mean, the list is so long. But probably the most important thing to really, really understand is that your body cannot heal and repair if you are always stressed out or if you are not sleeping enough. Your body really needs that relaxation, that downtime. ASMR, I think, also helps improve mental focus. Helps reduce just the general feeling of like overwhelm and anxiety and worry. Helps you be more present, be more in the moment, so to speak. And it's fun to watch. And it feels good when you get the tingles. Anyhow, guys, I am getting the notice through my doorway here that I need to go ahead and wrap up this chat. I want to thank all of you so much for coming. It is always so much fun for me to be at this chat. It really is like the highlight of my week. I'm just like glowing with happiness when I finish the live chat. Love hearing y'all's questions. I love hopefully being able to answer them. I guess that would be your your call. Miss Cholita says, how do we donate? There's a couple different ways to help support what we're doing here at Psychetruth. If you are, I believe that it doesn't work on the cell phone app of YouTube, but if you're on regular YouTube, there's a little $sign underneath the comment box where you can leave a tip in the live chat. You can also visit our Patreon page. We have lots of exclusive content and fun stuff that we make for our Patreon supporters. You can also sign up for wellnessplus.tv. It's just $5 a month. You get hundreds and hundreds of videos on lots of different topics related to health and wellness. Supporting us on wellnessplus.tv is one of the best ways, I feel, to help us out. It really, really does help us out a lot. And you get this awesome, cache of videos to watch in return. So wellnessplus.tv, Patreon, leave a tip in the chat. Those are kind of the main ways to help us out. If you're on Amazon, we also have a lot of videos that are free with Prime. So leaving us a review on our Amazon Prime videos would be another way to help us out. We really appreciate that. And that doesn't, cost you anything to leave a review. So anyhow, guys, thank you so much for coming. I really, really do appreciate you guys. Diego Ona says, keep your good job. You are a blessing for us. So thank you. Still reading everyone's little comments coming in here. I love it. Anyhow, guys, wellnessplus.tv, Patreon, we just super appreciate it, and I would love it if you guys will come check out the video I'm about to publish. In the next just probably 5 or 10 minutes, I will be publishing a video on this channel reviewing the HelloFresh service. It's like one of those meal in a box things where they send you all of your ingredients. So I'm going to be posting my video on that. I would love it if you could go check it out, leave me your comments, even if you just said, hey, I was in the live chat. That's an awesome comment to leave for me. I actually love seeing those. And I just really want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Same time, same place. It was time for... I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. fruit. All right, okay. It was time for live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on your YouTube machine. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. I'll answer your questions about whatever you want to talk about on the Psychetruth. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. Live chat, live chat, live chat, live chat. The Psychetruth live chat. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your questions. Super duper appreciate it. Thank you. I really, really, really appreciate you all being here. I can't wait to see you all next week. Come back again, bring your questions, and I will see you there. If you can't wait till next week, go check us out on wellnessplus.tv. And can't wait to see y'all again soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you next time.